Gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO.
Base race? It's a base race. They're marching, they're flashing, they're going to go for this one. I don't believe this. I do not believe this.
Only aim for perfection. Ain't no half stepping. I'm gonna take you back. Spitting facts, you gotta live with that. Who got it? Who won it? No problem. We mobbing in the city.
Shaboom!
Do or die, it's either all or nothing. Best believe I'm leaving out with something. Anytime I got the crowd jumping, throwing reds, you know they fist.
Just evaporated. Goodo locking them all in place, linking up with Kyosei. That's an ace.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO, delivered by Menulog for another beautiful day of entertaining LCO action. League of Legends. You want it? We got it. Kitty's got it. Rusty's got it. Skimmy's got it. We all bloody got it here on the LCO. Kitty, how you feeling today?
Feeling great.
Awesome. Rusty, how are you feeling today?
Good.
Skimmy, you want to go for the trifecta?
Sure, brother.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm glad we
That's
got
not
that
a-
out of the way. Yesterday, great games
Not a
yesterday.
feeling.
Sure,
Plenty
it's a good
going on. Plenty of little upsets in there, and we need a couple of crazy games coming up today. But look, let's focus on what went down yesterday. And look, I guess the kickoff, that big old upset, the Kanga W?
Yeah, big win for the boys, wasn't it? And it's great to see because they certainly have come into their own, and especially with the reintroduction, or I want to say reintroduction in a way of, Ben V coming back into the competitive landscape, but a debut for him as the Kanga support, gets to play Yuumi, gets to have the interview with us and said,
Lucky him.
as far as things went, you can't ask for much better than that one. Great to have another voice in the team, obviously, two members now, Lighten the Load and the burden on Fido.
Now, other games, of course, Gravitas and Mammoth both copying those Ls. I felt like that was expected. At least we did get to see some early signs of life from both of those teams. And then the final game of the day as well. Very interesting affair to close things out.
It was, and I believe it was just ordered playing for that scale, playing the Azir and Kale, where Chiefs was actually nervous from our interview with Tally, where they actually felt like they could possibly lose. But with Ali trying to just save the game with all those really great hooks in mid lane, as we can see in this clip right here, he salvaged the game and still brought them undefeated.
And deservedly got that Dare MVP to close out the day. The man popped off. Look, shout outs to Raze, who did a lot of damage, did a lot of work, but unfortunately didn't get that
Stay
Dare
mad,
MVP.
Raze.
Stay mad. Hashtag.
Yeah, so dicey though. What a situation, right? Because 3 items complete for the Azir, as well as the Kale, and level 16 was there as well. So everybody in chat was excited to see the pop-off performance. But then, Chiefs just found that moment and quickly before it fell out of control.
And are still that first team locked in for playoffs. Direwolves and Order a couple of games away still from locking in those seeds, locking in those positions. And then 4th and 5th, there's a little bit of a split now after Peace losing yesterday. That means that Pentanet shift up into 4th with their performance, and we also have Kanga, who is 1 win away and very much in this conversation for that 5th position.
Absolutely. I mean, the race for 5th is now definitely something that is hotly contested. Do or die for Mammoth. Kanga fighting and finding form as well at the same time. And like you mentioned, PGG getting their win yesterday and perhaps finding themselves and their wings are only 1 win away from being in 2nd place.
Well, let's see who they have to face today. Got a big couple of games on the agenda. Look at this first one to kick us off. Peace and Mammoth. You look at it, you think that might not be too spicy, but from what I heard, every single time this one's happened, Mammoth's taken the cake. So that's 2 of those 4 wins that they've got on the board. 7 p.m, you got Order, you got Pentanet. Not only that, but you've also got the match of the damn week, so make sure you don't miss that. 1-to-1 head-to-head between those, Gravitas and the Chiefs at 8 p.m, the 16-0 team against the 0-16 team. If Gravitas win, both of these teams' perfect splits are out of the way. 9 p.m, we got Direwolves and Kanga as well, which is another 1-to-1 matchup. And with the way Kanga played yesterday, with what we've seen from Direwolves lately, my eyes are heavily glued on this final game of the week. Kitty, which one is tickling your fancy?
Honestly, all 4 of them are quite spicy because we do have Mammoth 2-0 in the head-to-head against Peace, where I think Peace actually, I don't know what's going on because they seem to not be able to grab those wins against certain teams. However, it's vice versa for others. PG and the Order is going to be really exciting because they are fighting for second and first seed, of course, with maybe potentially one of their splits coming, streaks coming to an end for that third match. But my eyes are on the fourth match because they are actually, Dials is still kind of struggling in second because Order has bumped right up, where Kanga is potentially a contender for playoffs.
They certainly will be. And speaking of playoffs, we've got this beautiful graphic to have a little look at. So these are the 2nd to 6th teams, and it's road to playoffs. Their final 5 games, including today's games, are for the rest of the split before we jump on into those finals and have a look at it. So Order, this is their strength of schedule. You got PGG, Peace, Direwolves, Kanga, Mammoth. You're looking at Direwolves run, Kanga, Mammoth, Order, Chiefs, PGG. PGG's run, Order, Chiefs, Gravitas, Peace, and Direwolves. Peace go up against Mammoth, Order, Chiefs, PGG, and Gravitas. And then down towards the bottom there, Kanga, the team that a lot of people need to start to focus on because they really are starting to join this conversation. Direwolves, Gravitas, PGG, Order, and then rounding things off with Chiefs. So it really kind of has to be in these next 4 games.
Yeah, without a doubt. I feel like today is actually a big stepping stone for what is going to be the run to playoffs, right? So if Kanga win today, their next week's going to start with Gravitas, so they get to start a potential win streak the whole way. Where for teams like Peace who need to find those wins, they have no easy run home, and I don't think any team here has what you would call an easy run to playoffs, right? They all kind of have to go through each other or other top teams like the Chiefs to actually make that position. And so every single team that you're seeing here has to really earn their placement, whether it is second, whether it is fifth, just scraping in, still big.
And that's why I've caveated, right? Because Order are the only team that don't actually have diverse Chiefs now in those remaining 5 games. Played up against them yesterday, certainly getting them a big, challenge, maybe the biggest challenge they've had all split now. And, going into week 10 with those last 2 fixtures, it's going to be a brand new patch, right? 12-14, the entire game's going to completely change. If you're looking to try and find your footing on a new patch, which can be easier said than done. If you're looking at what Order have, Kanga and Mammoth should be easier on paper compared to the rest.
Not only that, but let's have a look at the playoffs bracket as well, just so you guys can get an understanding of where teams are going to be if they come first, second, third, fourth, or fifth going into the playoffs. And feast your eyes quickly over towards the right side of the graphic. You can see both of those 2 final games on that Friday, on that Sunday. They are live at DreamHack Melbourne. So essentially what you can take away, the main thing from this graphic is whoever comes first in terms of the seeds on that leaderboard are going to DreamHack no matter what, even if they win, even if they lose on that Monday, 22nd of the 8th game.
Yeah, and really important to state here as well that finishing second or third seed gets you 1 best of 5 away from the same thing. So it is important to finish second, it is important to finish third, and you don't want to have to make the lower bracket run the entire way just to get to DreamHack Finals.
And look, with everything that's gone on lately, it's worth mentioning that seed 1, Chiefs, they've already locked it in. There is 5 games remaining, but with a 6-game gap between that second place on the leaderboard and them, they're already up there. So essentially what we're saying is Chiefs are going to be at DreamHack Melbourne. Now it's pretty much just the battle of who's going to be that second and third team to make it. We still have a couple of weeks of playoffs after the main season games as well here in the studio before we do go down to DreamHack. And look, we'll be down at DreamHack. You'll potentially be down at DreamHack, but to be at DreamHack, you got to go to lco.gg/DreamHack, buy those tickets, get yourselves into the arena, into the action. There's going to be so much on, more than just the LCO there as well. So if you do, for whatever reason, get a little bored of League of Legends, which I would say would never ever happen, there's many, many things to do there. There's even overnight lands for the whole damn weekend as well, and that's crazy.
Yeah, you can just play some games.
What
happened there for a
Did
second?
you just choke on Rusty's words?
I just choked to my own vomit, yeah. Well, there you go for a second.
Wow.
You can literally play whatever you want. And
TFT
I just played myself, so there you go. So clip that one.
Oh, God. And on that note, I've taught you guys a thing or two about getting those tickets. Now, Kitty is going to teach you guys a thing or two about League of Legends.
Hey everyone, welcome to Battle Principal Kitty LCO edition, where we have a deep dive. First introducing the match from last week, which is the Peace vs Dials second Baron, where I believe this is a really important fight for Dials because this was the game determining result, where let's focus on this little man here, Zoranus, Big Z actually, my bad. So this fight is extremely significant because we do have Peace forcing this Baron where in this game state, this is potentially the last fight for Peace, right? Where we have Tien on the side zoned out while zoning out Poltron. We have Zoranus on this side. Because of the map state, we have Inferno Soul, where this side is currently open to all flank angles, where Zoranus and I believe Suman actually routes around here. He is able to get a flank onto the hypercarry of Peace, which is Violet here. So if we get to play the clip here, we do have Violet committing to the Baron because the jungler of Dials is currently zoned out and can't actually contest this dragon. However, Dials Zoranus sees this and he jumps straight away onto the hypercarry of Peace, where they end up getting, I believe it's more than 3 kills, and they just end the game from that. But if we do get a replay very soon, there's a reason why this play is really good. So if we do get to zoom in on Zoranus here, thank you guys. So we do see Zoranus actually getting his eyes already fixed on Violet, right? And we do see Gunkrab actually kind of split from the team, where he is leaning more towards the top side river. However, because Peace wants to commit to this Baron, Violet is forced to stand around here to do damage to the Baron because Tien is actually too far away as the second carry of the team, so Violet is basically forced to just stay in the pit. But with Gunkrab actually moving up here, Zoranus sees this angle and then he actually walks up and just kind of forces them, even with Violet having the flash. And if we can actually play this clip, thank you producers. So if we play this clip, Gwen into Zoranus, Gwen as the Zoranus into Lulu and Jinx is actually so impossible to play. He gets in there, kills the bot lane of Peace, and then that's basically game over because we did have Peace, Lisa, and Api in the pit, where if we look at Peace's comp, they were a mainly front to back team comp, where if we can get a zoom in of the mini map, so if we look at the lane state, right, of the entire map, mid inhibitor is already down, where Dials knew that if they took this final fight and they prioritized this fight over the major objective, which was Baron, and if they get 3 kills at least, they can end the game from just that major play. And that's about it. So thank you for joining in on the Battle Principal Kitty, and let's head it back to Mac.
I got a flank more? That's what I'm taking away from that one. Always flank. Yeah. Beautiful. Anyway, thanks, Kitty, for that. Now, I'm going to be one of your, I guess, best behaved students because I don't want to get in trouble from you. You're always next to me. You guys in chat, hopefully you guys learned a thing or two about that one. Did you two over there learn a thing or two?
Yeah, I mean, good awareness from Zoranus, and also, like you mentioned, Kitty, the use of the Infernal map to change the way the Baron was played is obviously a very large factor, and Peace got stuck on the objective.
I learned that ADC is a weak role.
True.
Or Gwen's OP. I'd take that one instead.
One or the other. Maybe
narrative.
Certain champs have certain counters and Zoranus had the counter to the other champ. Either way, guys, it's enough of learning things. It's time to have some fun. It is time for the LCO champion conundrum.
Is today the day luck's with you? Is it now your life could read you? Then you must play the game, cause I have to proclaim life's a game of chance.
So we're going to have a little bit of fun today. There's going to be some lines that champions from the game usually say. I'm going to read them out, and you three have to guess
you too.
Who it is.
They're so much better than me at this.
Kitty.
I'm better.
Oh,
Kitty.
wait,
yeah,
so-
you are.
How am I good at quotes?
So you're just
Mate,
going to
you recognise LEG by his ears. In a
I
silhouette.
recognise faces.
I think you're good.
I think
No.
there's some here you might know, Rusty, because I have the answers here on the
Bard.
card.
Okay.
If you guys don't get it straight away, I'll give you a hint, maybe 2 hints, and then we'll move on to the next if you haven't figured it out by then. Either way, let's get on into the action. Quote number 1. I'm lost. Won't anybody help me?
A Mumu?
Good guess, though, because it's kind of got the Amumu vibes.
It does.
Who's lost in League of Legends, guys? Who's a wanderer?
Nunu?
He's a friend.
Yeah, but he
Lilia.
was lost, wasn't he?
Lillian, no.
Damn.
Not enough sneezing to be Lilia.
Would you like a hint?
No.
Okay.
Can you repeat the quote?
I'm lost. Won't anybody help me?
Who is lost? Who is lost? Annie?
No.
Won't anybody help me? Sounds like kind of like a defenseless like child, you know what I mean?
That's why I
like
said
a
Annie.
small person.
Yeah.
I'm lost. Won't anybody help
It's
me?
Fiddlesticks.
It is Fiddlesticks. Was I close?
Oh,
I don't know.
that
if I
was actually
close.
really good. That was
It's
really good.
It's a bait quote because Fiddlesticks
He
isn't
quotes
lost.
other people.
Yeah.
Fiddlesticks is so
Congratulations.
fun.
And we have the real one. Let's see how close I was.
Won't anybody help me?
Not bad.
That's nightmare sauce.
I thought, yeah, so that was like the pig squealy,
right.
like, oh, that hurt my throat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Don't try that
Are
one.
you the voice actor for
No.
Fiddlesticks?
Takes like
I'm
8
definitely
takes.
not.
Recover
I'm
your voice
definitely
each
not.
time.
By the way, Kitty, congratulations. You got 1 point. 4 more to get through. I will not hide behind another shield.
Pantheon?
That's such a Demacian thing.
I know.
True.
Hmm.
Could be.
Brom.
No, because they
Brom hides behind
surely
a
they
shield.
can't
What do you
have a
mean?
Only,
shield.
only his own shield, bro.
Who doesn't have a shield?
I will not hide behind another shield.
I'm gonna say Samira.
No.
Sounds
no.
like something.
2 hands, no shield. You know.
Sounds like that someone that's been wounded in battle or betrayed.
It's,
perhaps.
Not Garen.
I can tell you it can be jungle, can be top. That's what I got for you.
Gwen.
No.
Broken champ.
Darius.
Red
I will
free.
not hide behind another shield. Final little clue.
Nasus.
I will not hide behind another shield.
What is this small Italian man?
I definitely didn't go high pitch enough. You got 5 seconds. Good luck.
I think it's a girl.
It was a girl.
It's
Lilia.
Mario.
Mario. No. Oh, no.
Time is
Viego.
up.
It's
No.
a girl. Excuse
girl.
me.
That sounds like a guy.
Yeah,
That
Max
was a
said
guy.
it.
Yeah. It was
Crazy.
Sejuani.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Did you guys know that Sejuani's dad is
Listen.
I will not hide behind another shield.
Udyr?
It wasn't too bad.
Samira.
Wait,
Clearly.
did you say Sejuani's dad is Udyr?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I'm
unlawful,
learning
you
so
guys.
much today.
We only have time for one
God,
more,
there's a
so
sick
let's
joke
make
in there
it.
with the ball.
Let's make it. Let's make it easy. Oh, no, let's make it hard. From the skies, they see war, but on Earth there is only carnage.
Aurelian Soul.
Negative.
Damn.
Vala, queen. No.
Can't be right because this sounds like like into space.
That's what
not,
I thought it
not
was.
like just the sky.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a Targonian.
From the skies, they see war, but on Earth there is only carnage.
Pantheon?
It actually was. Did I say that, Pantheon?
No.
You know, it kind of gave
I
the
don't know
vibe
what
of
Pantheon
I just
sounds like.
remembered there's a cinematic where Pantheon like goes flying up.
Yeah.
True, he does come. He comes from the skies.
I went
Yeah.
too far up.
Let's
Yeah,
listen.
yeah,
I
you
went into the outer
They
world.
see war, but on Earth there is only carnage.
I needed the accent and to not yell, but
I wasn't a
tried.
small Italian boy.
You need to roll your
It wasn't
tongue.
a small Italian boy. Either way, that is it for the
Come on.
LCO Champ Conundrum
Nice.
today. Congrats. You got a point. You got a
The
point.
miracle.
Give me,
We all-
even though you got 3
Aw.
jobs yesterday, you got no jobs today.
No jobs today. That's
No
fine by
jobs.
me.
Job's not on.
Job is not on.
Beautiful.
Rained out.
Well, we got from the fans as well. You guys submitted heaps and heaps and heaps about your main champs yesterday, what you play, what you love, what you indulge in your free time over at LCO on the Twitter sphere. If you want to go find that tweet, respond. We might have time today to look at a few more, but we definitely do right now. So let's throw on up what you guys sent in yesterday just to see what you guys are playing. Rosie, Timo. So at least one person is enjoying the game less than me. That is very true. I feel like truer words have never been spoken.
That sounds like
or
Rosie to me.
tweeted.
Would you rather verse Timo or would you rather verse Yumi? Is the question.
He's a bard player.
I'd rather verse Yumi.
He also has the bard little Among Us thing going on, right?
Certain type
let's
of bad
move on
person to play both
the
Timo and Bard.
next one. What else? Who we got? Power Nico. Anivia, because don't want my lane opponent to have fun.
Anivia's quite a niche champion, in my opinion.
It really is. Does it fit into the meta at all?
Had its moment
It's
for a
okay.
little bit, right? We had like Caps and whatnot playing it.
Yeah.
One Tricks will always find a way.
Yeah.
Very cool. Shout out to Dunk Master Nico.
Very handsome man.
We got Rusty, Bard
Oh,
because
yourself?
Ute.
I
Now
was
you
talking
may
about
talk
Nico.
about
Oh, yourself?
Bard.
God, that was such terrible timing
Really
to
good
compliment
timing.
Nico's looks.
You are such a handsome.
God, that was the ego of this idiot on the couch. Jeez.
Yesterday you were trying to be humble. Today just completely the opposite. Let's have a look at the last
Bard's the
tweet
best.
from you guys at home. Sebi saw Nami because I'm a fish. Oh, I guess
I'm
so.
pretty sure Sebi's spoken English before. I think it's a human.
What, are you saying that fish can't speak English?
Yeah, unless it's Finding Nemo.
True.
And then they all probably do.
You can't argue with that.
And sometimes they're just Ellen DeGeneres.
You can't argue with those facts.
I really wanted to do the whale voice, but I'm just not going to go there today. Either way, you guys, absolute champions, and we get to start talking about game. So, Mammoth, Peace, you guys are surely ready for this one. Let's have a look at what's going on today. Mammoth, they have that 2-0 head-to-head so far for the first matchup. And Peace, we don't know what's going to be going down for them. Skimmy, tell me, who's that in mid lane?
It's Big Reef Fury, yes, back for a second game after a long 1 month break. 5 weeks away from the competitive landscape, has come back in, and we're excited to see what he brings because as far as things went with me crew, a big emphasis on the likes of Corky and even Zed in that last game,
And
right?
Corky.
Yeah,
And Corky.
just a lot of Corky, right? Heavy AP carry champions, where I feel like Reef Fury this split had been a little bit more tendencies towards like utility. One thing for me is the Papton there. He's played Kale both times. They've won both times up against Peace. Just please ban it. Surely they ban the Kale tonight.
Surely.
That respect ban comes through from Peace. But what do they have to do today to get a big dub on the board? Because they don't have that head-to-head. And this, of course, is must-win for Mammoth if they need to make it to playoffs. They can't make it to playoffs unless they win every single game, and then they still have to have teams like Peace screw up at some point to drop out of that top 5. And Peace, they don't want to do that, do they, Kitty?
They do not, because I believe they are currently 8-8 in the standings at 5th, where they are currently also 2-0 against Mammoth, previously losing to Kale. So I am looking to see a Kale ban coming out of Peace tonight, but Violet is back, and I believe that he is quite fond of that Jinx, and even in our interview he said that Jinx is just better in these team fights where they have a better security for winning these team fights. And I think Lisa and Api, they are really just determining how these games go actually, because if Lisa gets ahead by doing those early invades, Api, if he picks a skirmishing champion like LeBlanc, I do want to see more LeBlanc coming out of Api. I think they are really able to actually play around the map and help out their side lanes, because Tian and Vile have actually been playing really well, and I think if they are able to enable these two carries, then it can secure them a dub.
They certainly can. I feel like, is Peace... Are they going to get that revenge today? Because they've been looking for retribution for a while now, Rusty, and I feel like today could be the day, but were we convinced by what they brought to the table yesterday?
No, I wouldn't say we were. They lost yesterday to Kanga. It wasn't the best looking game from them. And ultimately, whenever they got engaged on, they were losing fights. And they were against a team that had decent amount of engage, but not the best 5v5. And that was where they were losing. That's where Peace have often been losing. And I think that's what Mammoth want, is 5v5. So this is, for me, and you saw that in the 2-0 head-to-head, probably a matchup that Peace aren't happy with unless they can win the early game. And that's something I think we've been saying from the most of this split. And if I was to pick anyone, it's probably Guncrab, who felt the most off yesterday on that Renata. Felt very out of place.
Well, if that weakens that bot lane, then that bot lane head-to-head is where you would like to see Mammoth really excel. You want to see Voice really starting to pop off. And then the top lane question as well is there. You know, is Pappy going to get something that scales? He kind of looked a little off yesterday when he wasn't playing something scaling. So what do you think on this one?
I think those two lanes in particular are very interesting for me, because I feel like the last time they went up against each other, like obviously the first time Tien did like 50% of the team's damage as a GP, right? Really trying to drag them across the finishing line. The second time played the Sejuani, I felt like he could have actually had an MVP despite them losing. It was that much of an uphill battle for him. But also in that last game, Voice and LG played the Senna and the Wukong, right? So they threw them a few curveballs to try and make that bot lane a little bit more unstable. So I wouldn't be too surprised, despite this being an absolute must-win here for Mammoth, for them to continue to try and keep Peace guessing.
Well, we get to have a chat with our good friend Refury because the man is back today. I want to know, what have you been up to since you've been gone? It's been about 6 weeks since we last saw you.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I've been kind of just lurking about with the fellas still, just in the background, I guess, out of the public view. But yeah, I'm just kind of solo queue, just watching the boys play scrims, stuff like that. I'm just in the background, you know, in the just behind everyone, so it's all good.
I've been charging up this wave for 6 weeks because we don't get anyone that's as energetic as you. So welcome back, Refury. You guys are playing up against Peace. What do you actually think of them as a team where you guys have the upper hand being 2-0 in the head-to-head yourself?
I mean, Peace are like kind of I think Peace are really good players. But as you saw, we've kind of got some interesting W's against them in the past. So it'll definitely see on their performance about how, you know, we can get a W against them. I kind of hoping we get the win because obviously, you know, playoffs are pretty much near to impossible to reach now, honestly. But you know, we'll give it a red hot go. We'll see how they play, and we'll try our best, of course.
Now, my last question to you is, what prompted that roster swap today? Why are you back in? Is it literally just the Corki nerf in this patch?
Fun fact, I've been playing a Corki for like 3 years, so it probably wasn't that. I don't know how much I can share, but it was kind of like a testing phase, more or less, right? We'll see, like, you know, unique with the team, like what's happening, who plays with who. And it was kind of just like more of a testing phase rather than like anything like, oh my goodness, Galio one trick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm missing your Galio, but tonight's game will really be a test of might between you guys. So best of luck in your match, and hopefully we see you soon.
Yeah, thank you guys. You'll see a good performance. Happy.
Sorry, I was expecting the wave.
Yeah,
but
same,
the wave
and
is the
then
start, and
He just
that is
confused
the
you. It was
end,
like,
and-
hang on, what are you doing? We're doing this.
Well, if he's
and-
doing mind control with us, imagine Peace today. They could be in trouble. Now, let's check
Happy.
if you
Either or.
guys are on the same page as what we are, because it's time for that dare fan vote. Put them in. Twitch points. Get them in right now, because I want to see what you guys think. This could be closer. As we spoke about already, Mammoth have the head-to-head. Are they going to go for the three-peat over Peace? Are they going to make this that much harder for Peace to actually make it the playoffs? And can Mammoth really try to play spoiler to that run and get them themselves? Either way, let's have a look at what we think now. Our predictions. Rust, man.
Rust, why?
Got to have a bit of faithful Mammoth
Rust,
in there.
why?
Because 2-0 head-to-head versus Peace.
Yep.
Peace don't know how to close games. Mammoth know how to scale.
Yep.
There you go.
But
Done.
Peace also knows how
I
to
was-
scale.
Oh, did you watch Peace yesterday?
I was very, very close to going for Mammoth as well, solely because of what we saw from Peace yesterday and what we saw from Mammoth yesterday. And I feel like Peace just looked, even though Peace didn't look great yesterday, I didn't think Mammoth looked too great yesterday either.
No, neither of
so-
them looked very good. Like, to be perfectly frank, it's not their bests by any means.
Yeah.
New patches do sometimes make things a little bit harder to really get a feel for like what's best for you.
Yeah.
I do think that on average, Peace still look like better players and they should still be the better team today. But I don't expect perfect play from Peace, and I expect Mammoth to just say scale at all costs.
Yeah.
And we saw that with Chiefs versus Order yesterday, right? Order found one fight and they were back in a game.
Well, let's have a look at the jungle head-to-head real quick, because something could be going down here. We got Mayfarm, we got Lisa. Kitty, tell me about these two.
Tell you about these two. Well, they both like fun because everybody likes rice. But other than that, sorry. So let's look at the champion pool. So they are both quite fond of Viego, where Lisa has actually been introducing this funky Viego build where we've actually called it the Chemical Romance build because I believe it's just a lot of Chemtech items. But Lisa is actually more, I would say, utility based nowadays. He's trying to help out the lanes more, where Mayfan also plays a similar role. However, he does have more carry potential in my opinion because of those champions. where Lisa kind of acts as that frontline in most of these team comps. But if we look at the damage share, Mayfan is obviously playing a lot more aggressive or just doing a lot more proactiveness around the map, because we do know Voice is like a, how would you say this, a rocket in the early game where he likes fighting, where he wants to be fighting. So Mayfan has to back him up for that. And that's what I'm expecting to see for tonight's game.
Was it Mayfan yesterday that it felt like he couldn't keep up on the Wukong, and it felt like he was always just like a couple of camps away?
Balkan was
they spent like
invading
three multiple attempts trying to gank
Balkan's
bot.
so
Didn't work.
unpredictable. So
I feel like, so PGG played astronomically well yesterday, so it made Mammoth look not like a Mammoth we've seen as of late. So maybe Mammoth bounce back here as well, but we know Peace are one of these bounce back teams. We've said that though, and look at the amount of times, going into this Mammoth game, they haven't managed to get it over the line. What?
I want to see a Vayne game, because think about it.
Voice Vayne?
Voice is gonna pick Siva. Violet's gonna pick Vayne.
Oh,
and
Violet.
Violet also, not Violet also scales, but to be fair, Vayne scales just as well as Shinx, depending on the team comp. So, Prage?
Rage. It could happen. Any other crazy picks we're expecting from this one? Do you think
Baron
Mammoth?
Pit.
We did hear from Reef
We don't want to
Fury.
look at
They're
Baron
going to
Pit.
pick Baron Pit.
Yeah, when we see Baron Pit, say just don't. Walk
Don't.
away. It's end in
Amen.
disaster. You're going to get the
Amen.
buff, then you're going to lose the game. It's not a worthwhile trade.
Okay, so now on back to the champs real quick. Reef Fury
He's
in
like,
that
"Okay,
interview,
bro."
he said he couldn't reveal too much about why he's back in. So
Yeah.
maybe it's to do with that champ pool. Maybe he's got something crazy coming out today as well.
I think he was just talking about like the inner workings of the team and their decision. So I don't think it was about a champion.
Well, let's see if that is going to unfold. If we get something spicy from Reef Fury, Mammoth, Peace, they're going head to head right now.
They certainly are, Mac. Let's jump into it then and see what happens in a real do-or-die situation here for Mammoth. And hallelujah! Kale has finally been banned. Let it be known that Peace will not fall victim to insanity 3 times in a row.
No, not 3 times in a row. Wukong also going to be taken away alongside the Yuumi away from Mammoth.
Yep.
So coming into this draft phase, Corki's still up and available. You heard from them that it's not going to be an issue to first pick that one anytime, regardless of who their mid laner is. Now, in saying that, do we want to see a Corki picked first? Not really.
No.
I would still rather a Gnar. Poppy exists now. It seems like he's going to be a really high priority champion worth considering. And like you're seeing now with this lock-in center, quite simply existing, increases the diversity of pick options for Mammoth.
And it's just so wild now, right? The argument between blue and red side as to who gets the better half of the trade, because there's just so many strong champions still up and available, right? We've still got the Zeri, for instance, the Gnar, as you highlight, the Poppy for the utility, which even got first picked in one of the games last night. So center's there, much the same way as Mammoth opened up their draft last time, but Violet actually going to opt against the Jinx and the Zeri. Wants to go for the Aphelios for a strong lane.
Yeah, Aphelios, Renata, again, should come as a surprise to absolutely no one if that's locked in as a duo. That's your standard 1-2. I brought up Gunkrab earlier. The reason that I did so is because it felt like outside of laning phase, he was quite shaky with his positioning on Renata, I think is how I would phrase it. He wasn't exactly sure of when to be all in, when to throw the handshakes. There was a couple of missed flashed Qs, a flash ultimate that he threw, but flash ulting as Renata is legit just flashing on the spot, giving them a second to react and then just wafting out a cloud. So I'm hoping to see improvements from Gunkrab, all things considered, because I do know that he's a caliber of player that can absolutely keep up with the best, at least mechanically. So looking for those decisions to be made that are very smart. Now, Mammoth. Plenty of options here, Skimmy. To say the least, that's a good one.
Absolutely, yeah. The Seraphine, they've played it in the bot lane. It has been played by Voice, but it certainly could be hovered in the mid lane as well. We have seen Talia still get a fair bit of love, but it still seems to be a preference towards the mid lane, despite those nice changes to make her a little bit better in the jungle as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that as their bot lane pairing, and Reef Fury locking it in as their mid lane. Obviously, going to still keep Peace guessing as to what do we need to ban away to try and deny it, but they're going to lock themselves in with a Lee Sin as an answer.
I mean, with Mammoth, you never know if they're just cooking up a Talia center bot lane. I've seen Talia support. Could have a farming Talia with a center support.
Sure.
Who knows? Seraphine can go mid. Either way, like you said, we have their expected roles. We'll just see where they pan out to be. For Peace on the other side here, not just going for the Lee Sin, going for Lisa's Lee Sin. And honestly, I think it has been Mammoth that they've picked it into most times where Lisa has looked the most shaky on it. Which, a couple of flash kicks away to safety here and there from him onto some Kales from memory from Paprise. So I personally see this Lee Sin locked in, and I get a little bit nervous for Lee Sin.
You are
for
right.
Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, Lisa, and they're
Lisa-
basically the
Lisa
same
in.
individual, aren't they? Yeah, he's played it both times up against Mammoth. That one that we're always going to remember is when he just felt conceded, defeated at his own
Yeah,
turret. And
this is-
he just stood still on the spot and
Yeah,
said,
he pressed
just
out
end
and
it.
lost.
Get me out of this game.
That's why this kind of like, and it probably isn't the case for Lisa, right? He's an experienced enough player for this to not be a factor, but to me this feels like a vendetta. Like he just has to do well on Lisa
Redemption
one
arc.
time, get the redemption that you're after.
Yeah.
But either way, you'll see the expected jungle bans here, right? Poppy has been massively higher priority than it was in any week prior, even with really no changes to Poppy herself. Xin Zhao going to be taken away here also. They really do want Mammoth some kind of early game strength, where Poppy and Xin can provide both of those. Where do they go from here is the question. Volley's been nerfed almost out of existence for most people.
Yeah. But surely you're just going to lock yourself in. More mobility and more strong picks, right? Deny the Poppy, deny the Zen for the hard engage, and make sure that Peace are the ones to have the tools to try and jump on you before you can get the ideal setup with something like a Talia and a Seraphine. Let's see where they decide to then turn their attention towards.
I suppose you could Trundle. Viego's still
Sure.
there, right? So Viego untouched, definitely an option.
Viego Sejuani.
I don't think that, yeah, like if you're going to go Sejuani, Viego could make sense. Shyvana actually going to be the lock-in here. Presumably for Paprise. We'll see, won't we?
We certainly will. We have seen it played in the jungle last time by Mayfarm. Had a comp fully built around stacking up those Drakes as quickly as they could.
Yeah.
But they are certainly leaving us to the very last moment here to try and figure out what their comp could be.
Kindred. Really? I feel like I've just picked Kindred into someone that has a Lee Sin kick for one. Lee Sin loves the Kindred matchup. Nada can scoop you out, and Renata that can now has a giant target to bullseye if you ult early in the fight. I'm not sure about that one.
Kindred feels shaky here, Rusty. It feels very shaky. You've got such a lack of front line. You don't really want that Shyvana trying to soak up all that burst given, especially for the most part. You want to try and dip your toes into a little bit of AP damage as well. It feels like Peace, I don't want to say laughing straight to the bank, but feel like they've got everything they want and more.
I just don't personally see what the Kindred pick will provide for Mammoth, right? They do have the Seraphine, the Senna, and the Kindred now. So in terms of survivability, in terms of healing, sustain, you know, that they've got a lot. They can last a very long time when it comes to those team fights. I feel like Peace, in contrast to that, are a little bit more about that one strong punch.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Na wants to hit Mega, wants to go in. Appy wants to go in, do his full combo. Lee Sin's kick has the cooldown, right? But like Violet's got really consistent high DPS. And Na, even when he hits Mini, is going to be a powerhouse for damage output in team fights. I can't off the top of my head come up with an immediately better jungle champion, but I do think that their composition is lacking in a lot of features. If their bottom lane falls behind, it becomes impossible to play this game out. But if they get ahead, if the Kindred gets ahead, they can snowball.
For sure. It could be an absolute disaster if they do get ahead, because very hard to try and shut down the steam train of just the raw damage and the sustain to keep pressing on forward. But as you say, and as we worry about, right, if they do fall behind, there is certainly an argument to be made. Well, whoever goes face checking into the likes of a Nara, into a Lissandra, into a Lee Sin, who has to try and cop the bullet to try and win the battle, because it is certainly going to be an uphill one in that regard. A must-win game just to reclaim the stakes. Must-win game here for Mammoth. If they drop this one, that means their playoff dream is out. As for Peace, sitting in 5th right now with an even scoreline of 8-8. They can't get the head-to-head here.
Yep.
But they could get some glory.
Yeah, if Mammoth lose, they're out. If Peace win, they stay ahead of Kanga, who are nipping at the heels, constantly proving to be a threat for that 5th place position. And Peace can actually get themselves closer to 4th, you know, closer to 2nd place, closer to actually getting up there and having an extra chance in best of 5s come playoff time. 5 games left. Definitely now is the time to start lifting, to start rising, and to start putting your best foot forwards. I feel like the draft from Peace speaks towards that as well, for what it's worth. Their composition is very solid early, scales into Violet as it always does, but has Tien there as a secondary carry. So this is pretty stock standard Peace as an identity. Mammoth, their identity of not having one, is starting to really ring true when Kale is banned and Corki's no longer being picked.
Certainly is. And you do wonder really where this game will go. Happy, obviously, a phenomenal Lissandra. We remember what he did last time on that pick into a lot of melee champions and that big pop-up performance and perhaps the resurgence that mid-jungle really needed. And a great time for them to showcase what it is all about. But all eyes on this one as we kick off day number 2 of week 8. Only 5 games remain. Can you believe it already? The road to playoffs is not too far away now. And here to coach us through the opening moments of this game, we've got Coach Rowe on the line. Mate, how are we?
I'm going very well. I'm pretty excited. This was a pretty nice draft, I think.
Oh, you're pretty happy with it? Well, quickly talk to me about this because we're wondering, like, so many squishy targets. We can clearly see the benefits of it going ahead, but any concerns about the amount of utility to try and knock Mayfun out of his Lamb's Respite?
I mean, I definitely think that Shyvana is just really annoying to deal with in terms of the tanky frontliner. And then if you're trying to bulldoze through Shyvana, then you have Seraphine ultimate coming through and attacking you. And then you also have just Shyvana ultimate to disengage if possible. And then going in, I just think Kindred shouldn't be the primary target. And if Kindred's not the primary target immediately, you have Lance Respite for backup, you have Seraphine ultimate, you have Center ultimate. There's so much turn potential. If you don't do it correctly, you can get punished really hard for trying to fight this team composition.
Oh, for sure. There's a ton of utility. I fully understand you on that regard. Well, talk to me a little bit more on a general scope then, I guess, of... you've obviously fared so well against Peace this split with the head-to-head, having won your previous 2 occasions. That's obviously a much bigger performance than it was in Split 1. Why do you think you have done such a great job against Peace?
I mean, for me, I think it's just as simple as Peace underestimating us. Then the biggest example of that is Kale, of course, being banned in the second game that we came against them. They just let us have the Kale again, even though we were spamming it. We were getting bans taken, like it was banned against us from other teams, and then they just let us have it again, and they only had the Sejuani prepared as a counter pick, which isn't bad by any means, but it's not anything like a Nasus or little like. And then it's also just, I think, Peace are not as strong as they used to be as well. So these combinations of 2 things, not really particularly prepping for Mammoth, or and then not being as strong as Split 1 early Peace, for example, led to us being 2-0.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot to unpack from that statement there, but I agree with a fair bit of it. Well, we're going to leave you there for the meantime there, Ro. Pleasure as always, mate, and best of luck on the run.
Thank you very much, my man. See you around.
That's some pretty stern words there.
Yeah. I mean, he's very confident and he's very happy with his draft. This is the first thing that he said. We'll see exactly how this does pan out. The one difficulty they'll run into, and what I kind of gleaned from that conversation is that Ro and Mammoth really want 5v5s. They really want front-to-back 5v5s, and Peace do not have to subscribe to that ideology at all. If they are running through a Sejuani to hit the rest of your team, yeah, that is going to be fantastic for your composition. That is if they choose to stay front-to-back and 5v5. That is where the difficulties will come across, but that's if we even get to the 5v5s. We have to keep our eyes peeled for how this early game does play out. Peace have found leads the last 2 times these teams have clashed. It would come as no surprise if they were to find one again. It's the closing out portion of the game where they've really struggled. And so far, nothing really to report on. An early look in from Lisa, but otherwise, junglers are just full clearing. Didn't see if the Kindred mark went the way of Mayfun, though. One of those scuttles was marked. I think that means he doesn't. Okay, there's no 1 next to it. There's just a mark. I forget if it is.
Less the visual clarity. Let's look at what happens here. Well, that's going to be a flash roll from Lisa. Misses the Sonic Wave afterwards, and Refury's not going to get punished. But Voice, however, he will be. He's inside the shadows. The Black Mist expires, and well, so he does as well. First Blood goes out there. And that is the perfect start here for Violet on the Philios.
Very, very early on in the laning phase during the coach interview, we did see the heal used by Voice, I believe, just as a result of a nice skirmish from... Refury has flash here. He was considering it if he was able to keep up, but early someone to use bottom does mean that Peace find their advantage. The ignite difference there as well, right? Even without the heal, just means a little bit too much DPS overall in this 2v2. See how it happens. Voice finds the initial engage, just gets his hand firmly shaken by a gun crab, and that really is quite simple. He stepped forwards basically into melee range and says, "Come and get me," and they got him. They got him good.
They answered the call, didn't they? They didn't mess around with that one. Is exciting, right, to see that this time they've given us the center. Seraphina is Voice who is playing the center compared to last time. So Maybe a little bit more of a traditional AD carry approach. But yeah, fair few flashes burnt if we do a bit of a check-in. 4 for the side of Peace right now, with only Tien still having it up and available. And LG now just burning that TP back to lane to try and keep up pace as AR here deployed for the Dragon first. 4 members strong. Entertaining the idea of a potential fight.
Fury finds an abundance of vision. Doesn't know that Gunkrab is there anymore. Lisa considering getting into the area. 450 is the smite. Mayfun will be able to get it. Voice is about to be caught though.
Yeah, Voice is in so much trouble. He can't claim the souls and he can't get away out of this one. He's just been left to die a situation. You'll get the Drake, but you lose your life again.
Fury also knows that Appy has walked this far just from the ward that he's placed. Depending on his pathing here, he's happy to take the 1v1. Yeah, actually finds him. Appy's, it feels like a bit of a headless chook moment there from him. It's like, where is this guy? Fury not going to let him have the chickens for free.
Oh, that's a seismic shove. Bring that chicken back my way. Sonic Wave goes out, and this is going to be picked up there by Appy. Mayfun now walking across and saying, well, the mark's on your head. We would love to take you down to get the ball rolling. Going to be far easier said than done. Level 6 would be the dream, but that's still a while away. Appy, he's going to claw himself in, but gets center rooted on down. It's a 2-man knockup. There's a shove away. There's the minefield, which is going to be exploded upon, but the Bella proc is fantastic, and Appy lives just a little bit longer to claim himself a double.
They actually get extremely gapped by Renata pressing W on Appy. Doesn't die. I think they choose not to get him into lethal range where he goes into the after death passive. They let it expire. But in the time that takes to run out, they get 2 kills.
Yeah.
So they still win the trade. Peace overall still very happy with that outcome. And all Gunkrab has to do is just walk up, press W on the person who's going to die, and they win. Big play from Mammoth in terms of what they were after, because that is also the bot side Scuttle Crab that was marked by Kindred. If they get the winning skirmish, it'll be a mark for him regardless. Couldn't have gone worse though. Jump cancelled.
Yeah, in jumps Paprise there with the Dragon's Descent. Looking to try and put some damage into the Snar nice and early before the form is mega. Farming pretty even right now between these two.
Yeah.
Don't imagine we'll see too much chaos up there as we will pan away.
The biggest issue right now is a 0-3 center in bot lane. Has been pretty handedly dealt with at all times. We'll see the skirmish one more time. Appy is able to cast ult aggressively. Gunkrab, you'll see him press the W here, and now they just refuse to really get it done. Gets the reset, and just with his last breath there, is able to make sure that he gets a kill, Mayfun, or at least that they get a kill more specifically, that goes into the hands of Fury.
Moments like that are going to be so crucial, especially in big team fights around Dragon, Barons, and even Heralds, if that was to be a consideration here, because obviously you get the second kill, but you also get your passive to work on with those frozen clones, which can really pack a fair bit of a punch. The zone denial as well.
Yeah. They have insane resets. With Lyssandra's got the most like invisible, overpowered resets. Mammoth trying to face check the area. Handshake goes wide, but look at Appy.
He wants to walk in. Gunkrab forced to flash into the pit to disengage away. There is the Dragon, or rather the Baron, rather the Herald far out. That's the one to be picked up here by Peace, as Appy is going to be completely separated here by the Weaver's Wall. Vision is going to have to be the answer as a trade, really, more so than anything, but I think we're just going to walk back to lane.
Yeah, everyone's just going to continue to fizzle that play out. Mammoth are trying to keep the inside track here, try and keep them away from mid. Zone them out as best they can. It might be a couple auto attacks onto a turret. It might be a turret plate. Paprise has ult here throughout all of this, Lisa. If he was to make a play, he's banking on Paprise ulting forwards. Has done it once before already for what it's worth.
Yeah, vision as well, not the ideal situation. Gunkrab can literally just walk away out of that minefield, no dash, so we can't proc those mines themselves to fall on down.
LEG tanks a turret shot, almost dies. Fury just a little bit impatient there. It felt like with the seismic shove, sees someone coming towards him, doesn't actually play off the movement patterns of Gunkrab, gets duked by wanting to throw it out as fast as possible. If it connects, maybe there is a kill, just because it will stun him on the rocks. But either way, kill not to be found. Peace to continue to keep control overall of Summoner's Rift. Drake up in 55 seconds, Skimmy. Hard to say that there's going to be a lot of effort towards contesting this one. It's not a massive point of priority. Mammoth would love to have 4 Drakes as a win condition, especially now that it has been a Cloud and a Mountain Drake gone.
Yeah.
There's really only the good ones left.
A big soul to play for, absolutely, and that could be the highway to make sure that you are still relevant and don't have to feel too bad about the start that your bot lane has had. is obviously still that ton of utility that was mentioned there by Ro. You are just hoping that the stars can align if a fight were to break out come that 3rd or 4th dragon spawning.
What are your odds on? Pick a Drake Soul.
Give me Infernal Soul.
I'll go Hextech.
More fire.
Hextech's just so fun with movements around the map.
It is. Especially with Lysandra in the game. One of my favorite interactions.
Voice will find the ward there. Mammoth actually are showing signs of life for contesting this one. Level 7 on the Kindred. Does mean that they have the ultimate available. Refury, no ult cooldown available yet, though. Paprise walking down currently. Perhaps once he gets here, Mammoth will look to start a fight off. But he hasn't got his ultimate yet on the Shyvana to turn into a dragon. He's going to hit the wave in mid to make sure that is confirmed.
And Tien's primed so perfectly. He cleared the wave underneath his turret. Look at his Mega Bar in the top right corner right now. It's ready to go. That's a seismic shove. They flicked in Gun Crab, and that's not the timing you want. He's going to go on down. The hostile takeover. And Crescendum as well. Just tickles them as Mammoth will get their just reward in a 2nd dragon.
Yeah, the blue ultimate isn't too impactful very early into the game for any Aphelios players because it can crit, but 0 crit chance means it's just going to do a very small amount of base damage.
No big numbers just yet.
Yeah, no big numbers. Paprise gets sonically waved, but doesn't actually care because he is a big dragon. And will just walk away after taking the control ward. And we flipped the maps. Right, Teleport's going to come in top lane from Refury. Our solo laners are still going to be on sides. Center Seraphine in mid lane is definitely the place you want them both to be the most protected at all times. It does mean that Refury's now got the hardest job, however, of having to deal with side lanes not being supported presently up until Mammoth gets some kind of control in mid.
Continues to land the harass though, which is fantastic.
Ooh,
the empowered boulder really chunking out Tien. He's not lost any health in the process. Back to wrangling control here of that mid lane as Mayfiner's going to pick up his 2nd mark of this game, and they're going to be the answer from Peace. Summon the Herald straight away.
Refury already here, however, and there's going to be no Tien, so numbers disadvantage. They're going to probably just play for the charge and then call it a day. And Refury will slink his way back towards top lane, not really missing anything. Good play by Peace just to get the money to get the charge off in mid. Not hunting for anything beyond this one. No real time pressure in this game either. Happily farming. This is 2 games in a row. You've seen Violet at the top of the total gold early. Like a 70 CS lead over his lane opponent yesterday. Today it is a Senna and a Seraphine, but he is above both of them regardless.
Nothing really separating these 2 teams, however, from a global standpoint. Dead even at 21,000, so
yeah,
we're all starting to come online here with those major item spikes.
I think a big point, Skimmy, that does separate them is how the the jungle support duo works when placing wards down. It feels like Peace are more dangerous. They can find picks with a Lee Sin with a Renata.
Sure.
And they can have a hover from a Lysandra who could be anywhere at all times, right? The Unsealed Spellbook creativity. Where a Senna and a Kindred doesn't speak to me as particularly dangerous. If you see them, you can just try and walk away. And this early on, you're not going to have a lot of Senna stacks. Voice is, as you're seeing, extremely fragile and needs to be afraid pretty much at all times. Being 0-3 is so far behind. Almost no total HP to his name. I think it's like about 1,000 flat.
It's certainly not as threatening as the previous 2v2 that you mentioned. It literally is, yeah. 1,000 HP to his name. He'll be focused on getting that first lethality item complete and obviously getting as many of these souls that he can find. Nice seismic shove dodge there, but the damage is still coming out here from Refury. The Q will force him to flash away, but Refury's going to answer back and lock him on down. Lisa's here, a flash kick and a ward hop too. He'll go golden for a second. The Dawning Shadow comes across to try and buffer it perfectly. But it seemed like it was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, cute idea there from Voice. There's perhaps worlds that Refury can toss him away, but all things considered, they were going to play for the Drake. Shyvana's going to ult onto Lisa.
Yeah, Paprise is on here to look at try and make this one
happen. He's angry.
He's hit the ghost. He's keen to try and get the reset. Flame Breath shouldn't be too far away right now. Twin Bite one more time. Water to your head. Cop that.
Absolutely puts the turbo on and just picks him apart. Paprise finds an angle. Now 1-0 does find his first kill in the game. Mayfun.
Oh, Appy, that's beautiful vision denial right there. Instant Lamb's Respite comes across. The shield from Gunkrab, the Ignite as well. He actually burned double summoners to try and make that play work in favor of Appy.
Yeah, and didn't ult. They didn't commit. They didn't force the play to happen. I mean, you could say it's 2 summoner skimmy as a trade for a Kindred ultimate, and it's somewhat worth if you're able to have a follow-up play in the coming minutes. But again, that's a lot from Gunkrab, perhaps just not recognizing the state of the play. Similar to what we saw from him yesterday come mid-games.
But the play started beautifully there by Appy. His vision and now tucked into that little pit.
That was beautiful use of the nook there just near the red buff. You love to see it.
Small little moments like that certainly get you excited as they'll look to continue to try and trim this wave top side. But down to bot, the Talia Nar matchup continues.
Yeah, this is it's weird because we've been almost forced into these lane assignments. Haven't really seen Paprise and Tan on the same screen for minutes, which is odd.
Here comes a rotation though. Paprise once again, Dragon Form ready to go. Not too far away from Mega as well. Could be pure prehistoric carnage coming into this third Dragon.
Break number 3 is Infernal Soul, yeah. Did well on that one. Mammoth still grouped up. A teleport coming in on Vision.
Encore's being burnt super early. They try and catch it on towards Appy. Instant stopwatch, not taking any chances. Paprise has looked to try and zone them from afar. He's taken Tien down to half. Lisa still holding that Dragon's Rage for as long as he can. Doesn't have a flash, but can still look to try and ward hop.
Mega almost gone. Tien on a clock.
In he jumps. He's been stunned, and then he goes mini, and he's just dead. Mayfarm picks him apart. The fight continues, however, and Lisa's found that kick to the head and removed voice. He's now 0-4. The Dragon is still there. Who can pick it up? There's no junglers left. It has to be down to the DPS
Violet's
themselves. Violet tries to do it all on his own. And Mammoth will force out another flash to run away from Carnage.
Real tragedy there from Peace, trying to force a fight and just doing it the worst possible way. Paprise is just going to find himself a couple of explosive cones, because he can, and take away this Gromp. End result being Drake going the way of Mammoth. Teamfight going the way of Mammoth quite favorably. You can see the damage in that last teamfight. Paprise keeping so many of them busy. Tien jumps over the rocks. Doesn't get the Mega Gnar ult out because he's stunned by jumping over the rocks.
Yeah.
Appy comes in, self-cast. It is a big ultimate, but Lisa in the middle of the fight is still dead as well. And Violet Gale forces towards the Drake to execute the Kindred and disregards the outcome of the team fight to kill the jungler.
Jumped in to try and remove that smite button, but ultimately didn't change the outcome of this game as a whole. 3 Dragons back to back, and we are on par for a 22-minute soul point very early on into this one, as we do jump into a pause, which we will update you on as soon as we know more. But as far as things go, I think the game plan that you want for Mammoth, which is to group up and team fight, to utilize all that utility and that pressure, it worked wonders in that last fight. The minefield to deny Gnar with that perfect jump in flash ult against the wall. To force them to come in and just be completely zoned away by Shyvana.
Yeah, and to keep it mostly front to back, right? If that Gnar ultimate goes, it could be a different team fight. It could be a different engage because there was a potential flank angle. But they find their timings and make Peace force the play, counter the force just by simply pressing E as Talia. And it starts looking like a winning team fight for them. That really is a small detail that can be a large difference maker. You know, no summoner spells for the Renata, maybe harder to hit the ult positioning. The Kindred didn't have the ult himself, though, from the skirmish that happened in top. And, like, all of these factors make it a very awkward Drake to hit. But when all said and done, Mammoth are the winners in this situation. And for me, and you saw it in the damage dealt, Skimmy, the biggest winner this game so far has been Paprise.
He has been. The fact that he's hit that Nitrous and just gone and charged down Lisa in that fight up topside in a 1v1, and he's just showcased his brilliance here in that Dragon fight as well. Right now, 1-0-3 with the most farm on his team. The only one with the bounties right now, however, are those mid laners. They seem to be the ones that where you'd be putting all your attention towards, right, to try and be the difference maker, right? The Lissandra gets those resets, locks in place a crucial target, one shot with a Viego, rather an Aphelios and a Lee Sin to try and secure the deal, or perhaps from what we just saw before, you know, the Talia beautifully setting up a fight, cutting off the angles with a Weaver's Wall, or just zoning your approach with a seismic shove.
And full respect to Refury as well in this game, has been handling Tan quite nicely once they've put him into the side lanes. You would say that all of the pressure that has been placed towards him has solely been in that 1v1, but he's been prospering. He's been finding his angles. He's been involved in these team fights every single time, or in just the defense of the bases in general. So Fury
Cool guy, Ray Fury.
knows we're talking about him apparently. Has been doing quite well for himself in this game and has got a lot of reasons to be happy. First day back in the LCO was a very shaky game from all of Mammoth, but so far so good in the second. And the Kryptonite of Peace still well and truly on the cards here.
Certainly is. This would be a crazy set of circumstances, right? Despite it feeling so out of their hands for Mammoth to try and win this one, they are certainly reliant on not only winning this game, but also hoping that some of the other results that happen in this league and what is such a hotly contested down-to-the-wire banger towards Week 10 works in their favor as well. But as it stands, word as a update is that we do have an internet issue, a little bit of lagging for one of the players. So we shouldn't be too far away from jumping into the action. So thank you very much for bearing with us. If you've just tuned in, you're wondering what's going on. It's the first game of the day. And we just had Mammoth win a massive team fight to get 3 Drakes with a Shyvana comp.
I mean, let's go bigger picture as well. Do or die game for Mammoth. If they lose this one, they're eliminated from playoffs contention in Split 2 of the LCO. And Peace are one of their direct competitors that they have to get through in the first place. And they are 3 Drakes up. They did just win a team fight. They did just take it to the big dogs that they're up against. And they're also looking at a potential 3-0 sweep in the regular season against Peace.
It's huge compared to Split 1, where they didn't get a single win up against this team. That's a beautiful flash away. The mid laners with the bounties, with only 1 death apiece. Well, Appy wasn't going to take any chances with that one. Mammoth going to summon the second Herald of the game, utilize it in mid, and find their first turret of the game.
I mean, it was a nice flash away, but it was still a flash in a 1v2 situation where Fury gets the reset, gets the base off for free. Is currently going to be a very long amount of time before the minions get there for the next wave, and if Lisa sticks around, he's spent way too much time up there. They'll break mid. Bot going to be traded, though, in the meanwhile. Gunkrab.
Gunkrab in a lot of trouble right now. Very fortunate that the center route didn't connect there. Yes, he had flash. He just held his nerve.
He certainly did. And we'll just be able to limp away. Battered and bruised, but not broken. And now the trade comes towards the other side of the map. Lisa going to miss his Sonic Wave. Smite missed there by 20 HP, but Mayfan's still able to secure that one. With Lisa hunting in the wings. Look at bot lane real quick. Tien knows they're here. Knows they could collapse, but really wanted that juiced up cannon. 90 big ones. Also, oh, he missed the angle. He was looking to throw the boomerang and then not catch it so it travels further distance and interrupt that recall, but I think he realized that his angle was off, so he caught it anyway.
Not about the farming right now, between the kindred marks, between the center stacks, and in the Peace Pain Train with all their pick potential, looking for some more stacks of gold. What a situation we find ourselves in then. 20 minutes into this one, still nothing separating these two teams as a whole. That soul point to play for in just over now 90 seconds.
Yeah, we're also getting the AP Shyvana build this time around. Not going straight to like a Warmogs full tank iteration, a bit more team fight damage earlier from him here. I'm a big fan of this one, just because he's going to be so actively involved in all these skirmishes, all these team fights. Shyvana wants those Drakes at all costs. And it doesn't feel like anyone's going to kill him this early in regardless. Tien ults.
Tien has to ult away, has a flash, but can just jump across the wall. No harm, no foul there, but is feeling the pressure down towards his lane.
We're pretty close to having the Mega Gnar ultimate available anyway. 60 seconds is more than enough time for a level 11 Gnar. With some ability haste to have that one back. It's already almost half back. So, no harm, no foul in the play. Demonic Embrace done, though, from Papri, so has got that second item spike. Tien is the one lagging behind as far as top laners are concerned. Not there yet. Nor Lisa. It is just mid and AD from Peace's side that have got their item spikes. And you have to look at Violet. If there is someone to get you this team fight, to get you across the line in a clutch moment, you always have to look at this Aphelios. One item away from perhaps his peak strength. Gone for the greedy collector build before armor is stacked, but there's already armor there. I'm not sure on just how much damage he's going to be able to put out, Skibby.
Very lucky not to have to flash away from that one. He used his Gale Force instead. He's got the green and white guns primed and ready to go for that big team fight to try and keep his range but didn't snipe out some very key individuals. Tien once again hits Mega. He's already used that Gnar shove again. Needs to force the dash into the pit. They have to contest this one. They have to fight. Appy looks for Paprice. Dragons to disengage away. The Weaver's Wall, it locks them in place. Is it going to expire and give them a chance to run away? Seismic shove. Once again, doesn't connect them to the target they're looking for. Moonlight Vigil completely whiffs there from Violet. They need that damage. The Encore onto 2. Violet instant claims Gun Crab. Forced to flash away. And Paprice might just run down Appy for free. They've run out of ults. They've run out of options. They've run out of answers here, as that's a massive shutdown.
Paprice gets the shutdown. Appy is gone. Drake is gone. And Infernal Soul is secured here. Mammoth with enough health to potentially just cross the river and go straight towards the Baron side of the map. And if not, do the Baron, bait it, and see if they can find an opportunity for another fight. 2 control wards still in the pockets of Voice. Place 1 in the pit. Make sure that they can't see anything. He's swept all the way here, and they are just annihilating this Baron buff.
And it's just gone. So much damage between a Kraken Slayer, a Leandries, and the burn of a Shyvana as well. The Baron's gone by the time we toggle vision to see just what Peace could see in the sky. They'll have to settle for taking down a mid-tier 1 instead.
And how quickly things just start to swing in the favor of Mammoth. It feels like they just get momentum and they can start to run away with this one. And it does seem like we are just getting those front-to-back fights. Tien's been held at bay every single time. He ults before the fight starts onto Paprice. Appy goes over the wall onto Paprice as well, but they keep engaging onto this monstrously tanky Shyvana.
Very hard to take him down. Paprice has certainly been putting on a bit of a clinic this game, and the game itself is in a weird set of circumstances, right? They're down now 2,000 gold apiece, but the game has said it's objective bounty time. You're up against a Baron and a full Infernal Soul. Please have to do their absolute damnness now to try and hold this one out and pray that they can flip it at Elder.
And it gives so much more damage to them. Talia now has legitimate kill threat a lot, even with this utility build. Just extra burst going to consistently be there from the consistent DPS. Voice is still very squishy, but that extra damage is going to do wonders for him. It is the Fleet Footwork Kraken build. This is the second time we've seen this iteration of Senna's, where yesterday it was Praedyth with the lethal tempo instead. So not going straight down the lethality route, but did start with the Umbral Glaive. Wants to one-hit those wards. Violet could get... Ooh.
Looking for LEG just out of range to try and land that Encore, but he's got teammates that are trying to layer across and extend its range. They're looking for the pick. They're going to find out one. They're on towards Appy. Ult gets completely negated. Ults are being traded left, right, and center. Rifu cuts off the entrance. You can't come in to back up this Lysandra. Appy's just gone.
Guncrab dead here as well, potentially.
Guncrab's going to be very low, and he's going to fall on down to his own demise. He has not been bailed out. Another 2 members dead. And it's prime time for Mammoth as Tien's doing all he can to try and steal turrets.
And Tien can't keep pushing because Paprice is going to come back here, respond, answer the wave, and have teleport ready to go regardless. Tien's recalling. He's not going to teleport here. They have no intentions to fight.
Still another whole 50 seconds left on this one. You can see a little bit of the damage that the Aphelios can start to do. But certainly not enough to try and force a fight in a 1v9 situation where they'll be certainly hoping upon right now. And Hib dead.
And Mammoth are now definitely knocking on the doors of finding their 3rd consecutive win against Peace. 1 inhibitor gone. The mid lane inhib, the easiest to hold, however. Violet just going to be funneled extra money if it stays on this course. 20 more seconds of Baron, not going to be enough to push another whole wave. The question is where Mammoth choose to go from here. What is the next step going to be for them? They have inner turrets in both top and bottom to take. I wouldn't be surprised to see Paprice just go top, push the wave in while the rest of the team goes bottom. They already have good vision set up somewhat through the blue side quadrant of Peace's map. So they have got a framework to build out from. It makes it almost impossible for Peace to answer. In fact, Peace not willing to be on this side of the map at all. They've gambled on top side to protect Appy to clear a wave.
They want their next item complete. And speaking of, we've got some interesting itemization to start talking about here. Double Black Cleaver for the Lee Sin as well as the Gnar. Full investment into the Aphelios hype train before Infinity Edge, but there's the Anathema's Chains, there's the QSS also purchased there by the Kindred.
Yeah, Violet's not killing Paprice anytime soon. If Violet's not killing Paprice, how do they win a team fight? That is always going to be the question. That is where you do have to look at someone like Tien and ask for something heroic, but he's been kept so far at bay, kept down at all times. Talia outside of the laning phase. Made his life hell. And now that they've got a Seraphine and a Senna that have scaled out of laning phase, 27 minutes in, they've got their items. They've got their levels more than anything else. They are hot to trot.
And these are the things you were praising this draft from Mammoth, right? If they're ahead, they are so strong. And the concerns we raised was, well, what happens if you do fall behind? But that's simply just not been the story in this game. From start to finish, they've commanded respect of every objective bar one single Herald.
Haven't really seen any movements from Lisa and Appy together. Paprise, anytime he gets hit here, just kind of, I don't know about this one. Has ult.
He's just kicked them into his entire team, but the rest of Mammoth are there to try and back him up. They're going to slam Paprise up against that one. Looking for the kill, they jump on in. Lamb's spite is there. Hostile takeover getting them low.
Seraphine ult hits
the encore. Everybody's charmed by the might of Mammoth. And that's 3 members falling in an absolute instancy and vulnerability clips. They disappear, and so do the chances of Peace making us want to come back.
And Mammoth make a montage out of Peace with the team fight. You think you've caught Paprise, he's got the reinforcements, teleports straight into mid lane, Skimmy. They want the end here and now.
They certainly do, and it's slim margins for Mammoth to try and still make it into playoffs, but they'll take that gamble, they'll take that bet, they will answer the call and say it could be 1%, it could be 2%, but what we know for sure is that we beat Peace 3 times in a row this split.
What matters is taking the first step in the miracle run to playoffs. And Mammoth do not falter on the first step, they continue forwards. The Sunnies come out for real this time, and Sergeant Refury in the mid lane there gets it done.
Certainly does. Looking good, feeling good, playing well. And maybe this is the start of a miracle run, which would be a huge talking point. We talk about lower bracket victories and how you can sweep your way through to a grand final and win the entire tournament, but not to get too carried away. It's feeling really good for Mammoth right now.
It certainly is. Feeling real good. Worth a dare after that one. That was a damn good game. Shyvana winning. I'm always going to celebrate that one with a dare.
Of course you are.
And we all just stare. We was like, okay.
I was just going to wait to see if someone would be like, oh yeah, cool, let's talk about the game. Nah, let's just let the host do his thing.
Make you sip.
Then we'll talk about the game. Mammoth though, Rusty, you're happy you're getting dubs in the predictions. That's the catch up. I think we're tied again finally.
We're, I think, tied, yeah. I mean, it's one of those weird games to predict, right? Where I feel like Mammoth really are Peace's kryptonite, but you can't pinpoint the exact reason because every single time has been something different. The only consistency is that Lisa gets mind controlled into Lee Sin anytime he plays Mammoth.
Well, there's some other things going on. Like, Peace, I feel like they can't let Happy, who started to get that little snowball going, like, get this many Drakes, right? Even though he was there, sort of just fending them off, being that ball of HP. Like, he just had to stand there, hit, survive, and there is almost nothing Peace could do it. You could see at the end as well, that Lamb's Respite just saving the day. And we were talking at the start of the game about how Lamb's Respite would, like, not be that great for Kindred himself. But it was great for Pappy. I thought he was gone, and then the Lamb's Respite comes in, clutches, Pappy's still just chunking health bars, so everyone's down, one-shottable, and yeah, Mammoth are all just there to clean up and win.
I'd say it answers the question now when there could have been haters out there saying, oh, well, you know, Mammoth have fluked it, they've just cheesed it with a KO win. Well, he's now just done it on the Shyvana as well, right? He's looked clean every single time he's gone up against this team. So, yeah, as Rusty mentioned, there's something about these two teams when they face up against each other where Mammoth just completely excel.
I feel like this game is actually quite illegal from Mammoth because if we take a deep dive into their comp, it heavily relies on the Shyvana getting ahead, where Voice, I believe, in the early game was actually getting caught quite a lot. I believe he was 0-3. So with giving Peace that early game, I don't think they should have actually allowed Mammoth to obtain every single dragon up until, I believe we were going to see the earliest early drake we've ever seen in LCO. So, you know, grats to Mammoth to actually pull off this team comp. We did see it have a really good 5v5 skirmish, especially in the jungle. So he's just capping it again.
Did we know who the was it Anathema's Claws? Is that right?
Anathema's
Chains? Who that went on?
Would have been on.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's an interesting pickup, but
That's
worked
been
well.
right.
You know, Violet couldn't damn kill him, and 22.8k as what is essentially a full tank build. Other than the is it Demonic Embrace there as well?
Yeah.
That is just a build that just does walloping damage, scaling off of HP, and boy. Yeah, he looked at his health bar. He had a whole bunch of that. So He was doing work, doing big work. Mammoth going to be very happy with that victory after what I would argue is not a great performance yesterday. So big bounce back.
Yeah, good bounce back. I mean, tough performance and tough opponents yesterday, but this is Mammoth looking more their best, I would say.
Okay. Kitty, can you hear that?
Yes, it's our interview. So, hello, welcome to what? Yes, we have Mayfun.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get a confirmation. I didn't know who we were actually going to talk to. Mayfun, congratulations on your win against Peace. You guys are 3-0 in the head-to-head. How are you feeling? Did you expect that win?
Honestly, no. But then, like, considering how well Shyvana got through early game, I guess I should have expected that.
And I do know that you are a Shyvana player yourself. I see you being quite the Shyvana enthusiast yourself. So do you think you're the better Shyvana, or is Paprise better?
Well, I mean, in LCO, I'm 0-1 Shyvana, and Paprise is 1-0, so he's the better Shyvana, I guess.
Very true. So cleaning up the week in a very solid manner. Now you got the 3-0 over Peace. They are 3 of your 5 wins. I feel like that's spectacular. Now, you've got you pretty much Peace's kryptonite. Are there any other teams that you feel like you're their kryptonite as well? Because we need to see some more Mammoth power if you guys are going to make it to the playoffs.
Listen, I think the obvious answer is Gravitas, but like, aside from that, I'm not too sure if we're any other team's kryptonite. But
Well-
like, we definitely have a shot against everybody, I think.
From the performance we saw today, you do have a good shot against everyone, I'm pretty sure, as we nearly go into playoffs. So let's talk about that draft we saw, because you guys had a Shyvana Kindred Talia mid paired with a Seraphine and center bot. So whose idea was this to pull out the Seraphine and center bot, and how did these team fights work out?
Well, all the credit just goes to our coach, Ro. We had the idea to pick center if it was given to us, like that was already established for us. And then our coach was like, "Isn't this a banger Seraphine angle?" And then Voice is like, "Oh yeah, this is really good." And then we just locked it in, and then we had Talia already locked in, and then we're like, we're gonna need some AD carry in the jungle. So I'm like, it's either Graves or Kindred. And then, well, we went with Kindred, and then Shyvana was also a good pick against Na, so we had Shyvana. And then for the fights at Dragon, well, we kind of just abuse their sum timers. If they use sums on our mid laner, it would just be like, all right, let's just force Dragon. They're down sums, and we have pretty good setup for it. Let's just do the Dragon.
And it worked. It worked so damn well. I was confused how it felt like Dragon was never contested, or never as contested as I would have expected, considering there's a Shiv in the game. Either way, Mayfun, we're going to let you go and enjoy that W until next week.
Thank you.
Always good to chat with the big man, rumbling it up in the jungle, playing Kindred today. But again, he's going to be very, very happy with the win.
Didn't Rogue say that he was extremely happy with how the draft
He was.
came out? So yeah,
I had my
maybe it
interview
was
ready
a
to go with
banger.
him, and he's just like, "Yeah, isn't this a banger draft?" I was like, "Oh,
Which
yes, it
was
is." Like,
complete polar opposite to what you guys were saying. You're like, hang on, I don't know about that one.
well, I think you look at face value and say, okay, like if you take the nameplates away, you just look at Pieces comp and be like, that looks insane, right? Like, there's all the tools to try and succeed,
Yeah.
but you look at what Mammoth had and you think, oh, like I can see what they're trying to do. It falls behind, you're worried, but it didn't. It just won.
But Skimmy, can you see the Dare MVP?
No,
Top lane.
not on the screen.
Do you want to see it? Because it was Paprise.
Yeah, I do.
I think it could only be Paprise. The man, he was supported by everyone on the team, but he did work. Did so much of it, 73% KP as a top laner. And the fact that he was allowed to walk around on his own towards mid at the end of the game and just be untouched showed just how much respect he commanded.
I like how he only has 2 kills. However, he is sharing 38% of that damage share. So either everyone KS'd his kills, or he's
True.
just a nice man and
It's
gave
the
away
way
his
that
kills.
like fights were playing out from him, where he would just like ult at the start, do half health of everyone on the enemy team, and then just like stand there and say, "What? Like, you gonna stop us from doing this,
Mad?
Drake?" Or yeah, mad.
Well, the thing is, you know, that E just chunks health bars. It just does, especially when you don't have too much health. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a second game to get to. It's going to be match of the week coming up just after this. Order up against PGG.
As old. He's just kicked them into his entire team, but the rest of the
Reinforcements
Mammoth are there to
are
try and back
here.
them up. They're going to slam Paprise up against that one. Looking for the kill, they jump on in. Lamp's fight is there. Hostile takeover, getting them low.
Seraphine
That's
hits
the
all.
encore. Everybody's charmed by the might of Mammoth. And that's 3 members falling in an absolute instance. The invulnerability clips They dis-
Hey, look, menu bomb.
It's time for match of the week, baby! Woo! And just so you all got to experience it.
Six on the Tryndamere.
Yeah, Balcon's going to jump on through. Balcon might actually die in this exchange. In comes Yuri, he's got the realm. Warby's going to turn around, hit the binding, hit the flux, and look to try and lay down some damage. Can Predator do much in this situation? He cannot.
Hey guys, I'm Roof Yuri. I'm Mammoth mid laner. I started actually playing League in Season 3. Me and my dad actually duoed together. I would play Thresh support and he would play either Morgana jungle or he'd play Tryndamere. And I played rank seriously Season 4. I only played Yasuo, which is one of my favorite champions. I grinded him out. I played Season 5, Season 6. I went to PAX Season 7. There was a little stage in PAX where you got to 1v1 one of the Chiefs players at the time. And so I lined up like, yeah, let's go. I had gold 3 today. I'm gonna go beat this challenger pro player with all delusion in my eyes. And I got up to stage and he destroyed me. It wasn't even close. And I was like, oh man. So Season 10, I hit Masters and then hit Grandmasters straight after that within the same week. Season 11, hit Challenger. And then Season 12, hit Challenger again. And that's kind of been the whole League journey for me. I've been playing for ages now. Past like my dad, my brother, and now I'm just here, just in my mom's basement grinding. I see people playing League, I love League, and I'm where I'm at right now, and that's just like, I'm living the dream. That's what I'm doing. So the favorite moment from Split 1 was we were playing against Gravitas, and I picked Corki. And then I'm like, all right guys, you guys push mid, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna recall, I'm gonna grab the package, which is like the best ability for Corki at the time, just destroys everyone. You grab this package and just flame everywhere and you just win the game. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go grab package, I'm gonna recall, grab package, and I'm gonna TP and we're gonna end the game. And then, moment of silence. Guys, I've forgotten to grab package. And what I've done is I've recalled and I've just TP'd straight away and I've forgotten to grab the best passive ultimates in the game. And I forgot to grab it and then everyone was laughing and that's just kind of like, pull up in comms again. It's just like, oh, he's forgot to grab package again. Guys, Rufio's forgot to grab package. My Split 1 experience would have to be ups and downs, but I think overall, I don't regret anything I did. But I'll just like try and improve for the next split, obviously. We're going to win and you're going to witness it, and it's not going to be like another Split 1 run, I'll tell you that one.